Have you ever been so tired that your brain just does not want to work? As the adage goes, with more time, you have less money, and with more money, you have less time. So, started a new day job, as it were. I think I'd rather be doing something like this on a permanent basis. Just need to keep focusing on where to go to get there, which is kind of part of the focus of this show, to be honest. At least this episode. And it is that time again. You are listening to the TBD Network, and I am your host, Eddie. And the fates have decided that where I was apparently was not good enough. Through serendipitous events, which, if you don't know the word serendipity, I think the dictionary version is kind of boring. There's a movie, I believe it was a rom-com movie, maybe early 2000s, I believe. But at the end of the movie, or maybe it was at the beginning of the movie, they gave a definition of the word, and it says, serendipity is a series of unrelated events that lead to a fortunate outcome. So, I lost my job. Partly because of my own making, and partly because of snitches. And when I lost that job, I was trying to get into another job, and just paperwork stuff happened, and I didn't. So I had a couple months to try to figure out, kind of get really honestly get the ball rolling a little bit here at the TBD Network. Like, there was little things I was doing, like I did when I could, and then all of a sudden I was just grinding on it, like just nonstop, making network connections, talking to more people, putting myself out there more, actually getting in touch with different people, getting in touch with different content creators, getting in touch with different promoters and marketing, and I mean, anything you can think of. And, as they say, put it out there and it'll come back to you. And I've made some amazing connections. And then I get this job. The job pays really well for what I do. It allows me a lot of think time. So it allows me to create, or at least think of content to create, or ideas to put out. And it also allows me to learn a lot, because I can sit and just absorb audiobooks or podcasts or whatever else. But it takes up about 12 hours to 13 hours of my day. So especially in the wintertime, it just gets worse and worse. That being said, there is a person, and special shout out to Mr. Aaron, if you're listening. But he is a trainer at this company. And this dude, he's like, I get a text message, never talked to him before in my life. And he sends me a text message that says, Eddie, great to hear from you. I'm so glad that we're going to be working together. I hope everything is going, like, just the most friendliest message that you, like a friend that they haven't talked to in a couple of years. And I was like, oh, that was interesting. And then I meet this guy, and he's the same way in person, like super friendly, super interested in you, super inquisitive about you as a person. He likes to ask questions, and just an amazing, amazing human. Like, there's not a lot of people that go around and just want to know who you are, not what you do, but who you are. You know, like what I do is irrelevant to who I am. And that's what I think a lot of people, they get caught up in labels and what they should be doing versus what they are doing. And I don't know. To me, seems unnecessary for the most part. So anyway, back to the story. I meet Aaron, and we have just the greatest conversation. We're talking about everything from content creation to God to politics to social issues to, I mean, everything. Like like we've been friends for the last 10 years, just talking and catching up. And this guy, he so I'm reeling from this conversation. And as I'm coming down from this conversation, I set up my second meeting with a local artist in town, local content creator. And we meet up for coffee and we're discussing, the next steps to what he can help me with and just some ideas that I'm hoping I can kind of help him with, or maybe we can collab on a little bit. But it's crazy because same thing. We start talking about God and connection and intersections and I like the word intersectionality. I heard it from, I believe, Brett Weinstein on his podcast. And I looked it up, and apparently it's a feminist. It was coined in 1989 by a feminist professor, I believe, social professor. And what it was talking about how intersecting groups of people that are being discriminated against, like how they connect and how they, instead of being individualistic, there's more to that one person. She's not just a woman, she's a black woman that is in a poorer neighborhood kind of thing. That's kind of negative for what I was thinking. And so Brett Weinstein said that he believed that politics could be solved through intersectionality. That's what he was saying, which I don't think that's what he was. I don't think he was going off of that person's definition of that word. He was talking about how the left and the right could find things that they actually have in common and then work on those things to create a better political system or better political class, instead of focusing on the things they have in contest of each other. And I take it to, I take that word to another level, because for me, what that word means is it means the threads of fate. It means the lines that connect us from the grand design. It means, in simple terms, I guess, it means God's plan. So when you do something, you have potentiality, right? Like I know one of the conversations we're having was the sovereignty of God, which that's a whole nother episode, I think, if we were to talk about that. But one of the things you can't test is if God has a solid plan. You would never know that that's the solid plan because you can't change the line of fate. But I do believe that when you are creating and being authentic and being real and being who you are meant to be, I believe those intersecting lines will actually connect you to other people. An example of me connecting to Aaron at a job I just started, from a job that I lost that I actually didn't mind. And then with that time off, I made connections with this artist in town. And with him, I'm creating, or not necessarily creating, but I am actually moving forward on some projects. And I'm going to, like we were talking, it's like, he's inspired me, but it's not, I don't need him necessarily. I'm going to do it regardless. It might be a lot harder because he's got a way more knowledge than I do in a lot of things. But I'm going to do this. I'm determined to do this. But the intersectionality of God's plan, the intersectionality of connecting with people that are driven, that are real, that are authentic, that are, in essence, more who they are rather than what they do. Those are those threads of fate. And for me to be able to see those and to be able to connect to those and to be able to know that if you just kind of kick back a little bit and just let the fates take over, that you can not only move forward in life, but actually excel. And believe me, fortune will not always be on your side, right? We all know that life isn't exactly kittens and puppies and just works all the time. But when it's good, you make sure you grab onto those rails and you ride that fortune and you take it wherever it needs with, everything that you want and everything that you're trying to create. But I just wanted to kind of put that out there. I think that people are amazing when given the chance. And Aaron's ability to not only have true compassion and true interest in a person is what I think a lot of people are missing. And it's one thing in this show to bring back the art of conversation. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a great week. Hope you had a better week than I did. I'm getting my butt kicked out here. But I hope you have a great week. I hope you have a great weekend. Definitely enjoy your time off. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your friends. If you haven't talked to somebody in a while that you've been thinking about, just send them a message. Say, hey, remember me? At any rate, love you all. Thank you and peace.